Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Frillioth and welcome to another episode of Minecraft on the Just Vanilla server. Right, today I've just been told that my shop is out of stock. I'm assuming it's out of stock of sea lanterns because that seems to be the only thing that sells in large quantities. So I'm over at the Guardian farm at the moment, stocking back up, and I thought I'd wander over there and fill that up to start with. But I also want to have a look round. There's a shop that I want to have a look at, a new shop at Spawn that's got a shulker in it, a live shulker. Heaven only knows how they've managed to get a live shulker back into the overworld and get it into a shop. I can't wait to see it. So hopefully it's not some kind of April Fool's, because it was a few days ago that I got told. But I'm really looking forward to having a look round to try and find it. So I'm going to run over there and fill up my shop, have a look for the live shulker. And then later on what I want to do is make myself, I've got 2 blaze spawners in my temple, my nether fortress. Sorry, not temple, my nether fortress in the nether. And I've got a couple of blaze spawners in it and I've done nothing with them so far. So it's about time I did. And now we've got the potion room with Witchy. I'm going to grab myself some fire resistant potions and head over to the nether fortress and knock myself up a blaze farm, an XP blaze spawning farm. So anyway, I'm stood here dual wielding picks. What I should be doing is making my way over to spawn. I've made my way over to spawn and again everything's changed. Everything changes every week. Fantastic. We've had a bit of artwork around the portal. I don't remember that being here. Looks pretty cool. And also we've had a map put up, and now that is no mean feat. So kudos to whoever did that, because making a map that big, fantastic. Well done. Yeah, I'm loving that. Look at that. There's my guardian. There he is. Just there. Right in the middle. Anyway. Off to the shops. To the shops. To the shops. So here it is. It's I believe this is Epic Anuska's shop. Yeah, Epic shop. And there it is. There it is. How fantastic is that? I'm going to sit here for a minute. How did you get a live shulker here? That is fabulous. Blech. I do love the noise they make as well. Bleh. Come on, talk to me. Bleh. Bleh, bleh, bleh. Epic. That is epic. Okay, I've got my redstone box. Hopefully there's enough stuff in it to do what we need to do. And I've got my potions of fire resistance. I keep wanting to call them fire breathing. I still want that to be included. When you've killed the dragon, you should be able to make potions of fire breathing. How cool would that be? Oh, I've run straight past my nether. I've got to sort this out as well. This is a rubbish place for a nether portal. I'm going to have to move it somewhere in the middle. Anyway, I've got my stuff and I'll see you down by the blaze spawner. Forget it. Forget it, Frills. It's gone. It's gone, man. It's gone. Any blaze on this platform, i.e. that fella there, is going to start shooting at me. So I'm possibly, do I want to cover that over? Probably want to cover a little bit of this over just to stop the blaze shooting at me from both sides. So I'm going to grab a little bit of netherrack and block just this little bit off here so they can't shoot me. There's the blaze spawner, so I've got to get in there and I've got to light it all up and hope that I don't die in the process. Okay, so I've blocked it up, and you've got to remind me to get rid of this, otherwise my sweeper will break. So I need to get rid of that before I leave the area and start my sweeper up again. But I've got to get in here now, so let me drink my potion of fire resistance. Break this, and I need to get in there and light this up. PDQ. Actually, I didn't know it was on fire. If I'd have known it was on fire in here, I probably wouldn't have rushed about like an idiot that quickly. There it is. There's my blaze spawner. There's a fella. Now, you may or may not know, but I need an area. Blaze spawn, like most monsters, they spawn in an area that is 9 by 9 by 3. So I need 3 blocks above, and, well, and then I need to dig down to where we're going to start building the trap. Because I've got a half decent pick, I need to be careful I don't just smash my way through the blaze spawner. So without tempting fate, it looks like I'm doing reasonably well. And I'll bring you back in when I've made myself a decent piece of area. Brilliant. So that went without a hitch. I've managed to dig out and wall off, skin basically, the inside of the farm. Now, this is going to be a basic... Oh, what are you doing down there? Hello, boy. This is going to be a basic... Oh, look at you. I'm speaking. Please. You're so rude. This is going to be a basic sweeper kind of farm. I hope I don't get a ghast in here. That'll be fantastic. Where I'm going to have a little sweeper similar to the ones we've got running down there, only a lot smaller. It's just going to be 3 slime blocks on one side, I think 4 on the other side, and it's going to sweep up and down, and it's going to sweep everything, all the blaze basically, to the front, and then they're going to fall down a 1 wide gap, which is going to be down here. And then on the side of that 1 wide gap, we're going to have a couple of pressure plates and some sticky pistons. So they'll fall down a level onto a pressure plate. They'll get pushed a little bit further into the middle. They'll fall down a little bit more onto another pressure plate, get pushed into the middle. And eventually they'll be in a 3 wide gap in the middle, which hopefully will cut down on cramming. And they'll fall down to the bottom. And I'll be able to whack them with my looting sword and get the XP. Now, I need the chute to be within 16 blocks of the spawner in order for it to work. I did want to get this down into a 1 wide gap, and then I could just stand there and AFK and they'd cram, and I'd be able to get blaze rods without the need of a hopper, because hoppers aren't great for lag. So I didn't want a hopper around here. I just wanted to stand here and AFK when I needed the blaze rods. But that puts me a couple of blocks outside the 16 block spawning area, which means that I'm going to have to get it down to a 3 wide gap and not AFK by it. But hey ho, it is what it is, and that's that. So I'm going to need to set up a return at the back for the spawning area. I'm going to need to grab myself some obsidian and make a flying machine. So I'll do that, and then we'll have a look at it when I've done it. So I've now took the basic flying machine. You've probably seen this design before. I used it over there. I've used it quite a lot in the past, and it's your basic machine with 2 sticky pistons and then a line of slime blocks, and 2 observer blocks. And that observer block updates that sticky piston, which pushes. It gives it a 1 tick pulse, which pushes that sticky piston out, which makes it drop that slime block. And in doing so, it updates that observer there, which fires out that sticky piston, which picks up this slime block, which causes that slime block to update, which fires that sticky piston. And that's basically how it moves. It moves across the X and Y axis. Because of that, it's a basic flying machine. You've probably seen it a million times before. What it's going to do is sweep everything. This is going to be the main platform. Obviously, I'm going to get rid of all of the lights as and when. These guys are still spawning. I know they need a light level of, I think it's 12 or below, so it needs to be really bright in here, but I still get them in here. And I've got all brave. You wouldn't believe it, would you? I've got all brave. I'm no longer taking my fire resistant potion. Famous last words. I'm going to die, no doubt. But it's going to sweep everything over this way, and then that is going to go through this letterbox. And with this being obsidian, the slime blocks won't stick to it. So it's going to go straight through here. It's going to hit a return, which I'm going to put just around about there, and then it's going to come back. And because it goes through this letterbox, these blocks, any blaze that are on this platform are going to glitch through the slime blocks, and then it's going to come back and it's going to push them all to the front. And at the front, we're going to have a drop, and it's going to go, where's it going to go? It's going to be here. And this is where the main drop's going to be. So it's going to push them to the front, and then they're all going to fall down here, and this is where they get funneled into the 3 wide gap for me to dispose of humanely. So what I'm going to do is I need to dig all of this out, and I need to make it purdy in here because I don't want netherrack in here. I need to make it a bit purdy in here, and then we'll build the return and hopefully send it off on its merry way on its maiden voyage. So let me just clear this out. You don't want to see me clearing out netherrack. It's boring. My God, it's boring. So I'll do that. Then I'll make it look purdy in here, and then we'll make the return and set her off on her maiden voyage. Okay, I've kitted it out with a bit of netherrack, nether brick. When I said I was going to make it look pretty, this is me. This is me making it look pretty. I've put slabs on the floor because I don't want pigmen or wither skeletons spawning in here. Just because I don't. I don't think it'll affect the spawn rates coming out of the spawners, but then again it might do. But so anyway, I've put slabs down there. They won't be able to do it anyway. So now we need to grab ourselves a couple of temporary blocks. Where's my netherrack when I want it? Here's me bleating about how terrible netherrack is, and now I want some. So get some netherrack. That block there, where the obsidian is at the moment, I'm going to need exactly in the same place here a observer block facing with the redstone bit facing backwards. So I need to put a temporary block there and there, pop that one out, and then I need to put the observer facing backwards. So I've got the detector part there. So once I move that obsidian out of the way and start the flying machine, when that piston makes contact with that observer block, the observer block's going to update, and it's going to send a signal through to this, there it is, this repeater, which we're going to put on 4 ticks. So the flying machine is going to come down here. It's going to make contact with that, and then that will happen, which will fire that repeater, which will update this observer block, which will return it, which will make it go back the other way. So we're done out the back here. And if I go and start the flying machine now, let's put all this back again, and make sure that we've got nothing that's going to make contact with the slime blocks, otherwise it's going to stop. That's an immovable object, so it doesn't matter if that does or not. So if I move that observer block, that obsidian, like that, get out of the way, and then update this here with a block, any old block. The sooner they sort out the glitches with these phantom blocks, the better. It's going to come back, and it's going to stop. Perfect. So I need exactly the same setup I've got down there up this end. So hopefully you understand what I'm doing. I know a lot of people don't like me playing with redstone on camera, but I enjoy it. Now these, although these blocks are there, look like they're there, they're not. And if I were to jump on them, I'd probably get kicked for flying, because it's a ghost block, basically. Hopefully it won't affect spawn rates. If it starts to affect spawn rates, and it shouldn't do because technically it's not there, if it starts to affect them, then I'll have to, I don't know what I'm going to do. We'll have to worry about that later, I guess. But let me put another return station here. and then we can wall up the front, put a bit of glass on it, and then start working on the killing chamber down the bottom. Brilliant. So we've got the flying machine working, makes its way to the back, makes its way back to the front, and then returns. Brilliant. Now I need to be able to turn this off, so I just need to put a switch on this somewhere. So if I grab a lever, not sure at the moment where the best place for the lever to be will be at the moment, but what I'm going to do is temporarily I'm going to stick it here. Now that turns on that repeater, so it won't update when it gets back to this end. And to start it again, I just flick the switch and then off it goes. But I'm going to have to be able to turn it off before I leave the area, otherwise the flying machine's going to break. So I know it looks a mess in there at the moment, but it's the sweeper's working perfectly well. Now I need to work on my little drop chute at the front, so I'll dig that out, and again I'll bring you back in a second. So just to give you a quick rundown of how the pusher is going to work. We've got the floor level, that's the floor level there, so they're going to get swept all the way to this end, then fall off. And then if any of them land on this pressure plate, crikey, does that look like a pressure plate for reals? Pressure plate? What's a pressure plate? If any of these lands on a pressure plate, this pressure plate, it's going to activate this this repeater. I'm not using a piece of redstone because underneath that block that's on, there's going to be another sticky piston, and if it's a piece of dust, every time something lands on there, it's going to activate the sticky piston underneath it. So that's why I'm using a repeater. You could probably use a bit of dust. It would just take a little bit longer for them to get out of the area, which is what I don't want. So anything now that lands on that pressure plate that's swept this way will get pushed down onto the next row. And as I say, under here there's going to be another one. Where is he? Where is the fella? Is that it there? No, next one in. It's going to be another one of those with another block on it that's going to have another pressure plate. Ooh, ooh. Oh, crikey, O'Reilly, I'm a bit... Didn't realise that. Might have to rethink what I'm doing, because the last thing I want to do is kill myself. Right, that's there, that's there. We need another repeater there and another pressure plate. So now it gets pushed a little bit further. And if I do that both sides, eventually they'll get down to a 3x3 block. I think I've got to go down one more level. So I'm going to do that and then probably play about underneath to make sure I don't fall into lava and die. And then we should have a working blaze farm. Fabulous. Okay, so I've done all the work now. I've put a platform up here with a bit of glass on the front of it, so you can stand up here and watching them spawn and get pushed off the platform. And then if you go down here, this is a little killing area. Let me get rid of that. This is the killing area. So you just stand here and you whack them with your sword. You get a decent sword. That's where you whack them. I'm hoping, and I think I've got my calculations correct, but I'm hoping this is close enough for them to spawn. If it's not, I might have to move it up one, but I can't really move it up too much because I've got the pressure plate just there on both sides. They've got to fall into here. Any higher and they won't fall in. But I suppose there's only one way to find out, is to go and start getting rid of these sea lanterns and replacing them with netherrack or nether brick. So should I drink my last fire potion? May as well. I suppose that way I can just go inside then, can't I? I don't have to worry about trying to do it from underneath, which is what I was going to try to do. But they are going to start spawning PDQ when I start getting rid of these. There's no way around it, I guess. Let me just... Have I got room to store all of them? Yeah, just about. Let's get the floor done first. At least if I get rid of the floor, I can put the floor in and I don't have to worry about falling through the floor. Here they come. Yeah, be as angry as you like, fellas. Problem is, you see, they are going to start setting fire to things. I don't suppose there's a lot I can do about it. Need to put a block on there to stop them from spawning on top of that. Ah! Well, that could have been a bit worse than it was. Fortunately, I think I got away with that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. That's it, isn't it? I think that's it. I think we're off and ready to rock and roll. So let's flick this on. Let's get down, have a look, see him falling down, see what happens. There they are. Fabulous. Right, hopefully the spawn is still working at the top. If it's not, then I am in a little bit of trouble. Oh, here they come. Brilliant. Brilliant. That's taken me absolutely hours to do. I've had ghasts everywhere. I need a decent sweeping edge sword. What's this one? This is my Smite 5 Unbreaking 3 looting sword. So I really need a sharpness sword for these guys, because they're not undead. So Smite's no good with them. And my other one is a Bane of Arthropods, isn't it? So that's my next job, is to go and craft myself a proper sword. But here they come. We've got Blaze. Blaze for days. In fact, I might even call this episode Blaze for Days. And as soon as the update comes, and they've because they're sorting out this update in the they're sorting out this ghost block glitching thing for slime blocks in the next update. So once we have the next update, all that's going to stop, and this is going to look pretty damn cool. It seems to be working. Fantastic. All I've got to do now is get rid of all of that and put out all the fires that are on my main platform, but I can do that later on. Well, I'm afraid we're going to have to call it a day for today then, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have enjoyed the episode, please don't forget to leave it a like. And if you've really loved it, don't forget to subscribe for future videos. This is Frillioth, and I am out of here.